100% possible for you to achieve all the things that you're putting down on your dream board. Right? Then, the dream. And that's kind of what you're doing right now, right? You're creating the vision, you're dreaming about what it is you want. I just love seeing, just walking around the room, watching all the things that happen here, and what you're putting on your boards, and it's just really exciting to see everything that's there. I think it's going to be important for all of you, not just to do this exercise, but make sure when you go home that you put it up someplace where you're going to see it every day. That you're going to sit back in your chair and you're going to look at it, and you're going to think about that new house or that vacation home or running that marathon, right? The half marathon. Running your half marathon. That you're going to think about being able to go to Paris or being in Disney. I see a lot of Disney going on. Did I not see? I don't see a lot of Disney.
There is. There's a lot of Paris going on. There's a lot of Paris.
Okay, good. Okay.
You get Paris.
Yeah, good.
What'd you
Right,
say?
so remember that this is like ongoing. It's continual visualization. It's not just we do it now and okay, I visualized it. Now let's all say some prayers that it happens. That's not how it works. Okay, it's continuing to keep that vision in front of you. Seeing what's possible, knowing what it's going to feel like, Marta, when you have that dream kitchen, right? And you get your husband past the point where he doesn't really, he can't visualize it. You have to visualize it enough for him so that you know exactly what it is that you want, okay? So that visualization piece, really, really, really important. So now we're on Dare, right? We're on the last piece of Disney's puzzle. Think, believe, dream, and finally dare. And in this book, I'm going to actually go through 3 chapters of the book really, fairly quickly right now that I really think had some great points. But I'm going to remind you again, buy this book. Really, buy this book. As a matter of fact, I challenge you, Marie, Patty, to even do a little book club on it after it's over, where you could actually take a chapter every other week or something like that and bring people together who want to discuss what they learned from it, what they're going to continue to do, right? I've always been a huge believer. This is the base of everything we do. And at the Pampered Chef, I actually just had this conversation with Marcom people, marketing communications people. And, we have a lot of things happening at the Pampered Chef this year. We moved some departments around, we changed some people so we'd have better communication. We have a new director of Marcom, and she came to me and she said, so, what kind of things do we need to make sure that we have in all of our different publications and pieces? And she's talking about booking, she's talking about recruiting, she's talking about host coaching, she's talking about all those basics, and I looked at her and I said, you're talking to the wrong girl. You're talking to the wrong person, because in my entire career, I was taught, and I continue to believe to this day, that 70% of what we do is inspiration and 30% is skill. 70% of what we do is inspiration and 30% is skill. And I want you to ask yourself this question: what do you do most for yourself and for your teams? My guess is you're doing 90% skill and 10% inspiration. And you need to really think about that formula and really understand that our job first is to be inspirational, right? We inspire, we influence, we train and develop. And all 4 of those pillars need to stand tall by each other. But that inspire and influence piece is honestly more than half the game.
Judy, what was your 70 number?
70% inspiration and 30% training. Basic skills. See, I believe that consultants can learn the basic skills anyway. Right? How many of you as directors feel like you're teaching them to book? It's like, right? It's because they're not inspired. They're going to want to do it first. They're going to want it before they ever do it. So, okay, so let's talk about, so here's the 3 chapters we're going to talk about. First, he talks about, under the dare piece, he talks about pursuing your passion. He talks about listening to your Walter ego. And And he talks about mastering the 4 C's, which are curiosity, confidence, courage, and constancy. And so I just want to briefly go through all three of these, but you'll see them in the book, okay? Pursue your passion. Ask yourself every day, what excites you? Right? Passion is the energy that we throw out to the world. Are you passionate about your paper chef business, about achieving your goals? Are you sharing them with everybody all the time, everywhere you go? Right? Passion is such an important piece of the puzzle. And it's not about a job or career or even a purpose. Passion is plain and simple about excitement. Energy, excitement, enthusiasm. That's how you throw passion out to the world. And I know sometimes you think, oh, but that's not me, that's Patty Moserino. She's the one who does all that. But you know what? We can all have passion in our own special way. Patty can have it her way, I can have it in mine. Marna does it. How does Marna throw her passion out to the world?
Humor.
Humor, through her humor, through that, the way she shares that with
Tells it
everybody.
like it is.
Right, she tells it like it is, exactly. Right? We all throw our passion out to the world in different ways, but it's important that you do that. That you are passionate and people understand your passion about it, right? About what it is you do and what it is you share. Because people are attracted to people who are passionate about something they believe in. It's kind of like flies to honey, right? Laura Polito, you know about this, right? You just throw it out there and it comes back to you. And it's amazing how that all comes together, right? It's the energy we throw out there. Oh, here's a quote from the book. People are rarely bored by passion. Rather, they are attracted to it. People with passion are not boring. They are not. They're fun and energized. So passion is an important part. Pursue your passion and share your passion. Next, he talks about listening to your Walter ego. I love this chapter, right? And in this chapter, they talk about the fact that everybody has an inner voice. And the question they ask is this: is your inner voice a villainous one? Or is it the voice of a hero? Is it a villainous one? Or is it the voice of a hero? Right? What do I mean by that? Who can tell me what I mean by that? What happened? Okay, everybody's good? Anna's good? Okay.
A villainous one tells you how you aren't doing anything right. You can't do anything. Sorry.
So, yeah.
And hero is saying, oh yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Look how you can do this.
So what might your villainous voice be telling you on a regular basis about your goals and your dreams?
You can't get
You're not gonna reach them.
You can't do it. You can't reach them. Paris. Yeah. That's not for me. That's for everybody else.
Except they sound like a villain.
You can put all these, right?
They sound like a villain.
Yes. Right? It's kind of interesting how when you read the book, it kind of goes along with everything, like all those things that he believes, he created in all his movies, right? He had the voice of the villain and he had the voices of the heroes along the way. And I just found it so interesting. Oops, what happened? So interesting in how he did that. Well, I won't make quick. Let's just do it this way then. Here we go. We all need to be our own hero, right? And at the end of the day, every one of us are responsible for our own story. And I think more than anything else, one of the huge messages in this book is that each and every single one of us are responsible for our own success or the lack of that success. It has nothing to do with the people who are around us, the family, as Marie was pointing out so beautifully earlier, the family who does or doesn't support you, right? The host that cancels, the director who quits and decides after you've worked with them for so long that they're not going to be part of the business anymore. It has nothing to do with your upline or lack of an upline, right? None of that has anything to do with it. It really is about understanding that we all write our own story, just like all these Disney heroes did. They all wrote their own story. They all lived their life with passion. They all took the time to dream. and visualize their future. And every one of them had their own version of the fairy godmother, didn't they? Somebody that they partnered with that helped them believe and move forward. Who's that person for you? Who's that person that can be, that even though you're responsible for your own story, who's that person that can be your fairy godmother? It's going to help you achieve the things that you want on that page, right? As Marie was doing her opening today, I kept going, yep, going to talk about that, yep, I'm going to talk about that, yep, I'm going to talk about that. It was like she hit on the opening every single thing that I think is so important for all of us to understand, okay? Oh, goodness. Oh, I know what I did. I turned on the pointer instead. I must have hit the button wrong. I'll have to change it later. Okay. So, here's the other part about your Walter ego, right? We all need to be in charge of our own story. We all need to make sure that we're focused on our hero inner voice and not the villainous inner voice. But the other thing about your Walter ego is sometimes our ego gets so big, right, that we become afraid of failing. It becomes to the point where that failure hurts us, and the message in the book is that failure is a part of success. And unless we fail first, we can never succeed to the levels we were meant to succeed at. And Walt Disney, he failed, and he failed often. And the stories in the book are amazing. His very first studio failed, totally went bankrupt. It didn't start in California, it started in, I believe it was Kansas City, in Missouri, I believe in that part of the world. And it was called Lapograms. And it totally,
What was it called?
Lapograms.
Okay.
And it totally 100% flopped. And then he moved on to California where he started Disney Studios. He didn't give up on his vision because it failed, right? He wanted laughter. He wanted to bring laughter. He wanted to do studio work. He wanted to create movies and shorts and make people laugh. But along the way, he failed. His very first character was Oswald the Rabbit. You guys actually see Oswald the Rabbit in Disney, but that's only very recent. Because when he created Oswald the Rabbit, unbeknownst to him, he sold the rights to another company, or somebody around him sold the rights to another company. And when he found out he didn't have the rights to Oswald the Rabbit, he could have thrown up his hands and said, I'm done. This isn't going to work. My first studio failed. Now I lost Oswald the Rabbit. He's everything I put my heart and soul into. I'm done. But actually he sat down at the kitchen table with his wife, and this new character was born. And that character is Mickey Mouse. Yep.
Steamboat Willie.
Yep, Steamboat Willie came too, yeah. Mickey Mouse was created because of the loss of Oswald the Rabbit.
Nobody's ever heard
And
of Oswald the Rabbit.
he's around.
Yeah, he is.
Yep, they bought him back. I think Sony Pictures, was it Sony? I'm trying to remember.
Got
The
it.
company that owned him. So who's the big football guy?
Bill Belichick?
No, not
No.
him. But he's my fave. But
Figure it out.
Michaels, Al Michaels. Sunday Night Football, Al Michaels, right? So when Al Michaels was actually contracted through the Disney Corporation, and another company wanted him, and that company owned Oswald. And when Al Michaels made the switch to, I believe it's ABC, wherever he made the switch, which is owned by Disney,
Here it is.
part of the deal was that Oswald the Rabbit had to come back.
Right.
So my husband, I read this to my husband, he almost like fell off his chair, he couldn't be. Oh, it's Universal, not Sony. Okay. But time heals all wounds, even those inflicted in the face of fear and failure and absorbed by an animated character. In 2006, NBC Television, owned by Universal, won the valuable NFL rights to the newly created Sunday Night Football. Right? So that was back in 2006. They wanted a star announcer to carry the broadcast and coveted Al Michaels, who was still under contract with ABC. So they made a trade instead. Just as NBC was owned by Universal, ABC was now owned by Disney. Disney was willing to release Al if, and only if, Universal was finally willing to return the rights of the long-lost Oswald. And all the original Oswald cartoons that were created by Walt came back over to Disney. So when you go to Disney World this year, you will see Oswald the Rabbit is there. And that's why most people don't know Oswald the Rabbit, because he hasn't been there that long, right? It hasn't even been a little over 10 years that he's been back. So pretty exciting. The first time Snow White was ever shown as a sneak peek in Los Angeles, he opened the theater and halfway through, every single person walked out.
Patty show.
Totally flopped, but it didn't stop him. He didn't say, pull it. We're never going to show it again. We're not going to use this. He said, keep playing it. Keep doing it. He believed. He had passion. He believed in his vision. He believed something could happen. He could see it. And he just kept it
Do you
going.
remember why they walked out though, Judy?
They walked out, people assumed it was because they didn't like it, but they walked out because there was something going on. It was like a busy work day or something.
No, it was college kids and they had a curfew.
They had a curfew.
They had to get back on time.
But they didn't know that at the time. It was really interesting. Fantasia, which has never been my favorite. Bambi,
It's no one's.
Alice in Wonderland, and Sleeping Beauty all flopped. In their first showings and their first time, every single one of them all flopped. So what's the message here, guys? Never, ever give up. Don't give up. So, Becca, I don't mean to pick on you, but you have to know as I was telling this story, I was thinking of you, right? So, Becca, how long have you been with Pampered Chef, darling?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half. I met her for the first time, I think last June, where you've been with the business maybe 6 to 8 months, and told me she had just left her full-time job, and she was going to pursue Pampered Chef. And I think from June through the end of the year, you were on like a lightning streak. Like a lightning streak. And was this close to promoting to executive leader. But, you know, those wonderful months of December and January came along. And some of Becca's leaders decided they didn't want to be directors any longer, and they stepped away from the business. And the conversation, you know, so Becca had a choice to make, right? She could have gone, oh, see, this just doesn't work. You know, it just isn't for me. This isn't going to happen. Or Becca could say, you know what? People get to make their own decisions. I know I have the systems in place and the support in place to support growth. I know if people buy into these systems and they do what we teach them to do and tell them to do, they will have success, right? And that is absolutely the difference. You don't let your ego get in the way of finding your own success, because along the way people said no, or people left the business. So my focus at Pampered Chef, what I've been asked to do at Pampered Chef is to identify and help develop the next leadership at Pampered Chef. We're a 40-year-old company almost. And as the years keep going, we've had 3, 4, 5, I think 5 now. We have national executive directors who've retired, right? Now, at Pampered Chef, we could sit back and go, okay, that's just part of it. Or we could look, we need to create vision for the future and say, who is the next set of leaders that are going to bring us into the next 20, 30, and 40 years at Pampered Chef? And part of my role at Pampered Chef, what they've asked me and the team that I work with to do, is really identify those people and help them reach those dreams and goals and help them have that. Now, along the way, at Pampered Chef, have we developed leaders in our company, both upper level and executive, who are no longer with Pampered Chef?
Yes.
Do you think Pampered Chef should fold up and say, oh, I guess this doesn't work anymore, we're not going to do that anymore, right? You're laughing, but you get it. But ask yourself this question, do you do that? Do you do that to your own dreams and goals? Yes, a smaller scale than the Pampered Chef as a company, but do you allow yourself to do that? Don't let your Walter ego get in the way of stopping for you to continue to go after those dreams and goals. Don't be your own worst enemy, okay? Okay, facing fear and failure. 4 steps to avoiding becoming overcome by fear. Fear is the #1 thing that holds us back. And sometimes it's fear of failure, but sometimes it's fear of success.
Yes.
Why do people fear success?
Not deserving.
It's a change. What else?
They don't have the time for it.
They don't have the time for it.
They don't feel like they deserve it.
They might not feel like they deserve that success.
Here's my director.
Oh, baby.
Oh, wait, let's see.
I had to get a little closer, but from a distance it looked like all great-looking men, but it's not. This is her director team. They're all dressed in red. It's a great picture.
There you go.
Here's another reason why people fear success. And I think one of the hardest things we all do is, yes, I'll get there. One of the hardest things, I think one of the hardest things that a leader, a true leader, has to do is self-awareness. Is that digging deep down inside and really being honest with yourself, what is going on. And self-awareness is a skill, and many, many people never get there, right? And it's part of the hierarchy of leadership. And if you read Maxwell at all, he talks about the fact that the higher level leaders have more self-awareness and are able to really understand what's going on inside of them, where their demons are and where the good pieces of the puzzle are. But one of the reasons why people fear success is because I might have to do it again. If I earn this trip to Disney in top level, are they going to expect me to do it over and over and over again? If I promote to advanced director, how am I going to keep it? It'd be easier just to stay here, then I don't have to worry about anybody else. There's only one person in charge of you and your success, and that's you. It's not the anybody else's. People are going to come and they're going to go. It's your job to be in charge of that. Does that make sense? So face the fear and face the failure. Embrace the fear and the failure. Understand that fear and failure are part of every single thing we do. Everybody fears something. Everybody. But it's part of growth. It's part of living. As long as we're willing to learn from the fear and learn from the failure, and we allow it to fuel our success. Which is kind of part of what the story Patty told earlier, right? Is that her sister, 3 people at the show, she went into the kitchen to put something in the microwave, it came out and they were gone. Right? Who has a story like that? Where you allow that failure to fuel your future success? Who has a story like that they could share?
Well, the 3 times that I used the Pampered Chef insurance, all 3 hostesses became consultants.
Oh, there you go.
That's pretty exciting, right?
That is good. Lesson learned, people.
Well, the first time,
Great
it
excellence.
was many years ago when I was showing the chicken and broccoli braid,
Uh-huh.
and it slid off the rack, like we're talking the aluminum rack, you know,
Yeah.
the little handles. It slid off the rack and turned over on the lady's carpet, upside down. And the second time, I accidentally knocked a can of salsa onto a lady's white carpet.
Oh.
That's not the worst one.
Okay, what's the worst one?
The worst one was, we were in this woman's house and she was bringing out the deep dish pie plate, the deep dish baker,
Yeah.
and we had like a apple crisp or something in it, and I said, well, here, use my the trivet, not a silicone trivet, okay, we're talking about the cloth trivet,
Yeah.
right? And we put it on her table and put the deep covered baker on her table, and it was an antique table. And Pampered Chef refinished the entire table.
I become a consultant too. If I chef cleaned my carpets and redid my table, right? So, yes.
my first hostess of the year in January. I had met her at a craft fair, so she had never been to one of my shows. She made salsa, so she did a whole lot of work in advance. She invited her friends over. I did a great show. She called home office and complained about me and said that I didn't do my job by following up with her to get extra orders, which I had. She completely lied about everything. And she said I licked my fingers.
Oh my God, never.
She said that I did door prizes, and her friends got prizes, but she didn't get a gift. She was just all about it, and so home office called me, and I'm like mortified. And it could have gotten me.
Yeah.
But I knew, and I could have called her up and argued about it. But instead, I put a nice little packet together, and I dropped it off at her door. Oh, and she also told me none of her friends wanted to order. And I said, well, that's not your decision. I'm going to call each one of them because they were ordering from me. Some of them did change their orders, but I apologize to them if I offended them in any way. But anyway, I think back on that and I'm like, by golly, and I was very
You could have folded from that. You could have folded up and said, this isn't worth it, and blah, 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 but instead you allowed it to fuel your future success.
Said a prayer for her as I left her house. Bless you because you have to
something else.
Yeah, you really have to understand that when you learn from it, it really can fuel your success moving forward. So face the fear and the failure. And here's a quote from Walt Disney: when you protect yourself from fear, the only thing you will protect yourself against from is success.
Oh, I love it.
When you protect yourself from fear, in other words, you don't take steps to go after your goal because you're afraid to do it. The only thing you protect yourself from is success. And I love Winnie. Winnie the Pooh is like my favorite. I love Winnie. Never fear the shadows. They simply mean there's a light shining somewhere nearby. Yeah. Right? You gotta just feed through the fear.
And what's Walt's
Fear too often spells failure. Right? You gotta drive through it. You gotta understand it's part of your life and drive through it. And finally, the 4 C's: curiosity, confidence, courage, and constancy. Right? Curiosity. Oh, well, here's more of the 4 C's. If you Google Walt Disney quotes, this will come up over and over and over and over again. Somehow I can't believe that there are any heights that can't be scaled by a man who knows, or a woman who knows the secrets of making dreams come true. This special secret, it seems to me, can be summarized in the 4 C's. They are curiosity, confidence, courage, and constancy. And the greatest of all is confidence. When you believe in a thing, believe in it all the way, implicitly and unquestionably.
Amen.
So, confidence. Curiosity, he talks about staying open and childlike. Right? To be thinking through, being open and childlike. So when you were younger and you were a child, you dreamed all the time, didn't you? You had visions all the time. You thought about what it'd be like one day when you got to go to high school, or when you got to graduate from high school, when you finally got away from home and got to go to college. You dreamed about that Prince Charming that you were going to meet one day. You were going to marry your prince, right? You were going to live in the big house and have the castle and have all of those things. We all dreamed about those things. And then we get older, and as we get older, our dreams slow down because we're living more in reality.
Yeah.
And the thing about Walt Disney is he never stopped dreaming, even as he got older. And he always said, stay curious, be open to new things, be open like a child all the time. So curiosity, right? Are you curious? Are you open to new things, to something different, to new challenges and new changes? Right? Virtual shows? Think about it. Just think about it. Okay?
Mine will look childlike.
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
know.
You can't,
Mine will look
and so
childlike.
let me ask you, when you did your first home show, what did it look like? Perfect?
Mine was.
Everything bounced off the table.
Yeah, it was
I mean, I saw
pathetic.
something when you
It
did your
did
first
not
cooking
look
show.
perfect in any way, size, shape, or form. It is no different.
I had
I
Marina
think
with
you
me
have to
and
be
I
open to new things,
scratched
be
mine.
willing to try new things. I just had a top
Greater
rater say to me,
and I
this
was
might not
really
last
thinking.
forever. This might not last forever, but I'm riding this wave as long as I can. That's what she said to me. I'm gonna ride this wave as long as I can.
Who said that, sir?
Claudia Bizarre. She said, I'm not gonna let the fear of what if one day Facebook changes, what if one day this does, I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm gonna ride this wave, I'm gonna see where it can take me. And it's taken her in just a year and a half or so to National Executive Director. This wave, that's where it's taken her. To earning, I think, like her October, November check was something like, I don't know, 15, 18,000. I can't remember. I remember she was like falling off her chair. She couldn't even believe what her check was. You gotta be open to it, right? Open to change. I believe in doing your passion and going after your passion and doing what excites you, but you have to realize what comes with that, right? And so here's the advice I would give to anyone. If your passion is cooking shows and that's what you want to do, then do your cooking shows, be excited and being happy. But if your dream, if your goal is to build something bigger than you have right now, to move up in the career plan, to earn more, to have more, to be in Paris or to have a top level trip, then you've got to think a little differently. You've got to be willing to try something new, right? Because the world is changing. And we have to change with it to have that success. But you just have to decide what is it that you want. And don't frustrate yourself if you decide you're going to do it the way you've always done it, but you're not having the growth of some of the people that you're seeing around you. You're not allowed to compare, right?
Right.
Because you're comparing apples to oranges. So you've got to make sure you're doing that. Okay, confidence, knowing you'll be okay even when you fail. We talked about this already, right? Confidence means knowing you will be okay even when you fail. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Winnie the Pooh.
Can you get back to that?
Yep. Have confidence in your ability to do it right and work hard to do the best possible job. Courage. However hard you think it will be harder. However long you think it will take longer. Don't sit it up, don't dare stop, don't ever give up. All our dreams can come true if we simply have the courage to pursue them. You gotta have the courage to go over the bumps in life. And finally, constancy. Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Are these all sayings that are in that book?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all Walt Disney
Just go
quotes.
back 1 minute, I'm almost done with that.
Yep, they're all Disney quotes. If you go to Google Images and you Google Disney quotes, like these all come up.
Oh,
I got all the graphics from Google Images. And I literally took the book, went through chapter by chapter, and went, okay, what can I find? And I went to Google Images to find what it
Okay.
said. Much of it is in the book. Here's constancy. Do you know when Disneyland first opened, they weren't open every day of the week. They would open like certain days and then they would close certain days. And then when they were closed for a day or a day and a half, and people would come back, they could just never get in the routine again, right? They just never got in the routine. And finally Walt decided, we gotta open 365 days a year. And once he made that decision to open the doors 365 days a year, magic happened. It was like smooth sailing, right? Because people got in a habit, they got in a routine, they were doing things. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. 365 days a year Disney shows up. Do you? Do you show up 365 days a year? Is your passion showing through? Do you have your eyes focused on that vision and that goal of what it is that you want from your business 365 days a year? Right? Even miracles take a little time, said the fairy godmother. Right? And I want you to think about, who is your fairy godmother in this business? Who is that person who's going to help you really see your vision and see through the fear so that you can keep going after what you want? I know that these next couple of days that you're all going to be here together, that Patty and Marie have worked really hard to put together a program that's going to give you a little bit of everything. They started you off really helping you understand what is your vision, what are your goals, got you thinking about what it is you need to do to be able to achieve them, right? A little bit of self-awareness, and I have a feeling a lot of you have a little bit of that already, where little light bulbs might have gone off in your head just as we were talking. And as we go through this evening and tomorrow and Tuesday, you're going to get the tools and the skills. They're going to build on those tools and those skills that you need to be able to do. Because yes, I know, that this is only one piece of the puzzle. It's one thing for you to say, yep, I'm going to Paris, I'm rebuilding that kitchen, I'm running that marathon.
You keep saying marathon, maybe I should change that to a marathon.
So when that half marathon shows up in what, May, June,
13
September,
more
what are you going to do?
What?
I'm hoping by the end of this year.
Okay, so when that half marathon shows up, are you just going to roll out of bed that morning and just show up and hope you can run it, or are you going to?
No, I've been, yeah.
Yeah, you got to do things a little bit, right? You got to have the skills.
Like April, I have 3 5Ks in the tank.
Yes, right. You have to do the skills along the way. You have to do the practice along the way in order to make it happen. And that's what this weekend is about. So I hope you enjoy the time that we have together and that you're able to really take what you learn here this weekend and really put it to use so that you can reach those things that you want to make happen in your business. And again, final reminder, right? This is about the climb. We all make that climb at different paces. And comparison is the thief of joy. And here's what I know. At Pampered Chef today, we have people who are making the climb really, really, really fast. And we've had people watch some of these people make this climb fast, and instead of applauding them on their way up, they say, what's wrong with me? And my answer is there's nothing wrong with you. You have a different goal, you have a different dream, you have a different vision, and you have different lives, right? Don't compare. But here's the best part about what's coming from this, is that there's a new possibility at the Pampered Chef today, right? We are seeing things happen in our company that haven't happened in 30 years, 25 years. Amazing things are happening. And here's what I believe, here's what I know. If one person can do it, anybody can do it, if they want it bad enough. And that's what you need to know. The possibilities of the Pampered Chef right now are endless. You just have to open your mind to it, welcome it in, soak in the knowledge, and then share that passion with your team and with the world, and you'll have what you want. All right? And so I think we're about ready for dinner, yes?
Yes.
It's about 5 to 6. I hear the bar's opening soon.
Yes. So I hope that there'll be some discussions around.
The question is, what do you want to happen? Because see, there really are 2 types of people. This is really worth listening to, guys. If you can wrap your head around this, it's huge in your leadership development. There's 2 types of people, right, in the world, and they're described as people who are moving towards or people who move away. Okay, if you're somebody who is a person who moving towards, it means that you're moving towards creating something to happen. If you're moving away, it means just the opposite. It means that what you're doing because you don't want something to happen. So I'm going to get on the phone today because I don't want to not reach my goal of having 10 shows on my calendar. Moving towards person is I'm getting on the phone today because I want 10 shows on my calendar. You see the difference? If you're moving away, it's the actions you're taking are because you don't want something to happen instead of you do want something to happen. Kind of got it?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the question to ask yourself. And think about it as you go through the weekend. Where do you fall? Do you get up every day and do things because you want something to happen? Do you brush your teeth every morning because you want your teeth to stay healthy and you want to have clean, fresh breath? Or do you brush your teeth every day because you're afraid when you go to the dentist you'll have a cavity? Got the difference?
Yes.
Okay, studies show that people who are moving towards are more successful, achieve more of their goals, earn more income, have more of what they want in their life than people who move away. Why? Because we move in the direction of our foremost thoughts. If our foremost thoughts are, I'm going to get cavities, I better brush my teeth, you better believe you're going to get cavities because that's all you're thinking about. If your foremost thought is, oh my gosh, I better get on the phone because I don't want to not have 10 shows, then you're not going to have 10 shows because you're thinking about not having 10. Make sense?
Yes.
You following?
Yeah,
if you're talking about directors in your team is, oh my gosh, I don't want her to lose her title. I don't want to lose my title. What can I do today so I don't lose my title at the end of the month? Then I pretty much guarantee you're going to lose your title because you're not focused on keeping on it. Your brain, all it's hearing is, I don't want to lose. Okay? We move in the direction of our foremost thoughts. Never, ever, ever forget that.
Yes, I love that.
Yes, the cow and the buffalo. Yep, it's the same thing, right? Roy Maiden does the cow and the buffalo.
Here's an interesting one. My mother has always said, if you put don't in front of something, you have canceled it out. And instead of like with a little kid, don't touch that, don't cancel it. So they touch that.
Yeah.
So whenever we would say something, oh, I don't think I can do that, she would say, cancel, you can.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. As a matter of fact, any human behavior when you're raising your children, you should never be telling them what you don't want them to do. You should be constantly telling them what you do want to do, right? You know, like, don't please. Exactly. It's exactly the same thing. It works for adults too, not just for children.
Yeah, good one.
So our vision for tonight is that you're going to enjoy an adult beverage, you're going to have a great dinner, you're going to have awesome conversation, you're going to come back in here and you are going to have your socks blown off of you by Susan and Laura tonight.
Yeah.
And I want to applaud all the effort that it took for everybody to make it here. I want to give a little extra credit to Linda. We didn't realize you were in the wrong city. So we kept thinking people were picking her up from Austin, but she was in San Antonio.
Oh,
so
maybe we need to work on our communication.
Yes, we do. But
I communicate. Maybe it's listening.
but we also have people that came from California.